Okay, everybody, stretching exercises, let's go.
The definition of a man is simple. You are a human being first, before you are anything else. And then, what is your role in society?
So most times when people hear testosterone, they think it's just the male sex hormone. Yes, it is one of the major male hormone, but it's also produced in females in the adrenal glands.
If someone had low self-esteem, which led him to abusing testosterone, then we have to deal with the self-esteem first before we deal with the negative effects that come from abusing testosterone.
So the more stressed you have, the less testosterone you're likely to be having, or the less sensitive you are to your own testosterone. So again, the other factor will be issues of stress management.
My coach will call it in the other room.
The other room.
In the other room, yes. For example, in the other room.
Which room? The 1%.
Other room.
When people are told to get a room, which room do you get?
Well, it depends. It depends with the both of you. Yeah.
With the testosterone.
Some get a room means all the rooms. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the Med Squad podcast. Okay, on a serious note, welcome. Now, let me tell you about a guy called Bosco, who was invited to a company retreat to take them through their fitness spaces and all. It was just the interactive and exercise segment of the retreat. And Bosco is really muscular, and he showed up and he's tall and muscular. And everyone in the office, the ladies are like, "Ooh, look who they brought, a consultant with form." And then Bosco turned to them and said,
Okay, everybody, stretching exercises, let's go.
On the Med Squad podcast today, with me, Yafesim Soke, we'll be talking about testosterone, looking at the myths and some of the muscle and the mind and what goes with it. But before we get to that, I want to introduce my panel with me. We'll start from that side this time for once.
I'm Dennis Mandere, therapist at Zuri Health.
Okay, my name is Dr. Kelechi Okoro, also known as the Health Attainer, and I'm known for breaking down myths and making health as simple and easy and fun as possible.
And speaking honestly.
So Anthony Legua, a medical general practitioner at Zuri Health.
All right. So now we keep hearing about testosterone. Now we've broken it down or simplified it, oversimplified to some extent, as a manliness hormone. Like, if you have testosterone, you talk like this. Or if you don't, you don't. But it's a lot more nuanced than that. So please, define for me, what is testosterone? And what does it do?
Why are you looking at the man? Let the woman answer.
You've seen.
Yes.
Maybe a woman has more testosterone than us. I'm just talking here. Tell us what testosterone is and what it does for the body.
All right. So testosterone is a chemical hormone in the body, and it's basically required for balance. Are you surprised?
I am not surprised.
Okay. So most times,
speaking as if I don't have.
Okay. So most times when people hear testosterone, they think it's just the male sex hormone. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is one of the major male hormone. Mm-hmm. It is produced in the testes, okay, and it's produced in the testes, but it's also produced in females in the adrenal glands.
Yes, women have testosterone. We are not surprised.
Okay, yes. So
that's the what it does for the body.
Okay, so testosterone usually peaks at puberty or adolescence in boys, and then uses with age. So around at the age of 30 to 40, it reduces 1% every year. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then testosterone is responsible for physical function, emotional function, and also sexual function. It's not just the sexual function. So some of the things that the testosterone does for the man is it helps Bosco. It should have helped Bosco, to sound exactly. So it helps with the sound of the voice. It helps with muscle mass and strength. It helps with sexual performance. It helps with sexual function. It helps with facial hairs and body hairs. It also helps with strength. Yeah. It helps with distribution of fats around the male or the male. You see that the fat distribution on the male is totally different from the fat distribution on the female. Yeah. You see how
it's the big bite.
Exactly, for females, but for male, yeah, exactly. So it's also responsible for mood, mental, for focus, attention. It's also responsible for red blood cells production.
Wow.
Yes. So it's when you talk about testosterone, it's not just the sex hormone.
Yeah.
It is responsible for all of these things that I have mentioned.
So when we talk about mood, there's mood and there's emotion. You mentioned emotion, emotional function. Is aggression a part of it? So which side of the emotional function does it come in? Is it on the aggressive, the assertive side, or because nurturing is the estrogen?
Yeah.
So is that where the emotional function?
When it comes, let me chip in on that. When it comes to aggression, we're talking about something that comes from the cortex of your brain. Testosterone on itself, it's a hormone, but it works in tandem with the neurotransmitters in your brain on how the mind operates or the brain operates. Okay, it modulates the aggression part of a man.
Yeah.
And by aggression, there is two parts to it. There is the proactive and the reactive. By proactive is where a man predetermines an action to another person, especially maybe another man. And the reactive phase is where another man does a slight on you and you react afterwards. So in terms of modulation, this comes in because men are usually, testosterone makes them become so self-aware, even for the environment they're in. So the perception of aggressiveness comes from the self-vigilance of a man. Mm-hmm. And it comes from where testosterone puts him because he's hypervigilant of his environment. Yeah. For instance, if someone was to approach your wife, the first thought to pop into your mind would be, there is a perceived threat approaching a person I really love. So in this case, the aggression will be predetermined. You'll see this is a threat, so I have to act upon it. Or it might be reactive where after you find out your wife and the other man are having an affair, you go to an extent of maybe committing murder on the both of them. Then it becomes the reactive kind of aggression.
I would like to, not counter per se what he said, but there are two different men.
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony, you meet someone with your wife, or you see a man trying to approach your wife. Your first instinct might not be to react. Not all men would react, right? But some other men would do so. So I don't think that.
That's why I said it modulates.
Exactly.
I didn't say it dictates for you. Yeah, it doesn't dictate for you. It modulates. It modulates your behavior, your mood towards a perceived
threat. Yeah. So aggression would be as a result of overproduction of testosterone, whether from an illness or from ingestion of the testosterone externally. Yes.
Or other
factors. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. So and just to add on the context of how testosterone affects our behavior, we've seen that even in sports, people tend to use exogenous testosterone as a performance enhancer. Number one is associated; it increases your threshold for risk taking, and that's why men are perceived to be more risk takers than women. This is because, again, it is an issue of modulation, not necessarily an issue of dictation or a direct correlation between the two. Is the more testosterone you have, the high likelihood that you are a risk taker and that you have tolerance for risky, thrilling things. And that's why people with high testosterone like to engage in very dangerous sports, like sport biking and hiking and all these things that are kind of risky in their essence. Yes.
So that also kind of brings out the issue of attraction, because these risk takers or bold and assertive might be more attractive to females. But then now there's the other question, because you mentioned how it reduces 1% every year. How do you know when testosterone is...
Don't use that. Please.
Or, okay.
When you say this is 1%, we know 1% is an organ.
We start doing the math in our heads. Okay, but to put it in another way, how do you know when testosterone is too low? And apart from age, what else can cause low testosterone?
Let us, the men who say testosterone.
You have an audience.
What? Okay.
Or like how he's asking how you've realized your partner's testosterone levels have been going down.
Okay.
The 1% has reduced.
Yeah. How did you calculate that?
Okay. So
like initially it was 3 hours then. Okay.
Okay, so like I said earlier, most of the time men won't just stand up and go and check their testosterone level. So when a man starts adding weight, right, or they are not able to retain their muscle bulk, or they start depreciating their strength, they are not as strong as they used to be physically, and also in the other room. My coach will call it in the other room.
The other room.
In the other room, yes. For example,
Which one?
in the other
Which one?
The 1%.
the other room.
When people are told to get a room, which room do you that
Exactly. What room do
Well,
you get?
it depends. It depends with
The
the
testosterone.
both of you. Yeah.
With the testosterone.
Some it starts from get a room means all the rooms. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so can we be serious now,
can we be
please?
serious?
Can we be serious now?
Okay.
Exactly.
This is what testosterone does. Yeah.
Okay, so it also reduces sexual function. It reduces sexual appetite. It reduces sexual desire.
Yeah.
It reduces sexual performance, right? And it could also make it will reduce erection. For example, some men, a healthy man, a healthy growing boy, a healthy adult, when you wake up in the morning, you're supposed to have the early morning wood. Okay, so that's called spontaneous erection. So once your testosterone starts reducing, then you don't have those early morning woods anymore. Okay, another thing that can happen, it reduces your hairs, the way your hair, causes it's responsible for facial and body hairs.
But I'm just checking.
You're just
see
checking,
if I'm looking good.
Yeah, so it reduces the hairs. It also makes you add weight, like I said. It reduces strength, and then messes with your mood.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to have, like he said, the testosterone modulates your mood. It gives you that. I'm trying to avoid using the word manly because it can cause some sort of pressure.
Yeah.
But you know how your mood has been, your strength, your focus, and all of that. But once you start feeling unnecessarily tired, less motivated, less interested in things you used to do, your mood starts getting low, then your testosterone might be responsible for that.
Yes, just to add on some of the symptoms. Again, remember we are talking of an issue of hormonal imbalance. Now, when your testosterone is low, and we are calling it a sex hormone. So we are talking about issues of fertility. As long as we are saying sexual performance is part of fertility, now we are looking at, again, what is the quality of the sperm? Okay. Remember, testosterone is responsible for the growth of the testicles, the balls. Okay. So the smaller the balls, probably the smaller the swimmers and all those things. Okay. So fertility is a factor. As she talked about issues of losing muscle mass. Is a big issue in the modern world, sarcopenia, where we are trying, because we know that good health and longevity is associated with muscles, okay? Issues of poor fat distribution, obesity, it is a vicious cycle that when you're obese, you're likely to have low testosterone. Okay, and that's why people out there will look at you and they're like, you are poor in bed. Just by looking at you. It's because obesity is associated with a hormone called aromatase that converts testosterone to estrogen. So it makes you feminine more as a man. Okay, so that is why reducing weight is one of the intervention for people with the sexual dysfunction and reduced libido and all this. So we're talking of infertility, we're talking of obesity. Again, hormones work together. They tend to affect each other. Somebody with the testosterone issue is likely to develop insulin issues, and it's associated with the development of so many other metabolic and hormonal issues that compound to even bring us to chronic illnesses.
You should have touched on metabolic syndrome because it's it's something that you're passionate about, I know.
Yes. And that's why we know that people, for example, people who are low on testosterone are likely to have diabetes that is insulin resistant. Even if they're not full-blown diabetes, they will be pre-diabetic, and even development of hypertension. And all these are associated with metabolic syndrome. All of them, it is they are chronic in nature, and they go to the cellular basis, and that's why they're calling them metabolic syndrome.
Yeah. And there's something that
brings about, with the metabolic syndrome, it brings about high blood pressure, high glucose level in the blood.
Yes.
Then deposition of fat around the waist.
Yes. And
Polycystic you mentioned,
polycystic ovarian syndrome.
because it directly affects the bone marrow.
Yeah.
So your red blood cell production will dip.
Yeah. And then also, it also causes men to start growing breasts. Yes.
Yeah, no,
And there's moobs, it's called moobs. And then the breast can also get tender, swollen and tender breasts. And yeah, he also mentioned, gaining weight around
central obesity.
They say there's something we say in Nigeria, you're not looking like a married man. So it's not because you are married per se that is happening. It's because you are getting, older and then your testosterone level is reducing.
But sometimes it's the wife who is cooking really nice food.
And in the women, this one. In the women, we're talking about other hormonal issues like PCOS, which is associated also with the hormonal imbalance in terms of testosterone and insulin. And talking of the wife cooking good food, we know that central obesity is not all about the food. The stress is also a factor, cortisol level.
True.
So the woman is cooking stress.
Why you putting your? Can we see your married man?
Wait, can we first get
focus?
Can we focus? You can't just. You can. So anyway. When we come back on the Med Squad podcast, it's not like that. We're going to find out what happens when your testosterone is low. Look at the hype. Are there solutions, or what are people doing that they should or should not be doing? Stick around. Hey there! Welcome to Zuri Health HQ, where Africa's finest medical minds meet modern care. I'm Yafesi, your host on the Med Squad.
Hair care is personal. It's not just diagnosis, it's direction. From a cough to managing chronic illness, we listen and we lead.
Every symptom has a story. We listen, explain, and act together.
Nutrition is not just about food. It's fuel, it's healing, it's prevention. We help you eat with purpose, for energy, for recovery, and for lifelong health.
We are not just lab coats, we are detectives, and your blood speaks when we translate.
Your mental health is not a luxury. It's your health, period. Whether it's trauma, depression, anxiety, or even wanting to speak to someone, we are here for you.
At Zuri Health, collaboration is our strongest prescription. We connect expertise across Africa to deliver care that is smart, affordable, and people first.
This is the Med Squad. Real conversations, real health, real people. From your inbox to your bedside, we're with you. In a world where Med Squad podcasts come back, welcome back. And we're talking about testosterone. I'm going to use all the testosterone I have because I'm being told 1% is going every year that I speak. But we have mentioned some of the effects of low testosterone. We've seen what it does. But when someone hears that, because men, we have this ego thing, panic checks in. And so I want to find out ways to boost my testosterone levels. So there are people who get into, you talk about injections for athletes and all.
Anabolic and
Yes,
So what are some of the things that people do to try and boost testosterone, and which ones are risky or should not be done, and which ones are the ones that you can actually go
Okay, one of the popular ones is intake of steroids, especially for athletes, especially for those who lift weights, So that's it. So, for example, your testosterone, like I said earlier, naturally it reduces 1% every year, but it is not a problem.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be like that normally.
Okay.
But when you are not even when you do not have any testosterone issues, you do not have any testis issues, your pituitary gland is producing just enough testosterone, but you now start adding extra testosterone to, you're trying to get it externally, then you can make you aggressive. You can start causing acne. It can give you even gynecomastia, where men have, boobs. So,
and this is after ingesting more
testosterone. Yeah. So this is what happens when you ingest it, externally. Another thing that people do is taking opioids. They think, that is going to help them, boost their testosterone. But in the long run, you're just hurting your body more. Okay.
And do you remember the thing we said about substance use?
Yes.
Because the body tries to maintain an equilibrium. So the moment your body is producing testosterone and you add in more testosterone into it, it will be like, your face is doing this for me. So let me me relax. I'm not going to produce any more testosterone. And that becomes a problem because
okay, okay, I've remembered. So another thing that people do is testosterone therapy.
Yeah.
Or testosterone therapy. Yes. For example, those men who are men who are trying to become more masculine.
Yeah.
Right. They're trying to become masculine, or you're already masculine and you're trying to be even more masculine. What that does is it makes you prone to cancer. Some cancers that are fed by testosterone, for example, the prostate cancer, or makes you prone to the benign form, which is the benign prostate hyperplasia. So imagine your body doesn't need testosterone and then you're adding more.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's one of the...
Trying to grow a beard on my ears.
So again, we have to remember that the first thing she said is it's a chemical hormone. It's needed in the right amounts, in the right place. And if your testicles are not working enough, then your body is deficient. Okay. Then if in women, if your adrenals are not giving you enough androgen, then your body is deficient. Then such a person might need a hormonal replacement therapy, that is testosterone replacement therapy, for the right purposes, for them to conceive, for them to get to sarcopenia is a disease, for them to be to have quality of life.
Yeah.
However, for bodybuilders, you must remember that everything in your body is programmed to whatever capacity it can grow to. So if you force your muscles to grow even bigger, look at me. If I decide to go the testosterone way, I can grow as big as I want. But remember, the heart does not want me to be a giant. My liver and my kidney and my brain, all those, they don't want to be giants. Even the penis itself, it grew during puberty to the point it was supposed to grow. So any growth more than the required, things go ballistic and things go wrong. And that's why we have so many risks associated with testosterone. Even in hospital, we just don't give it.
So now we've talked about, you said chemical hormone. Are there natural ways of boosting testosterone? We see ads and pop-up ads saying, boost your testosterone with this food, or don't drink this or it will reduce your testosterone or eliminate it. These are testosterone killers. #. Yeah. So what do we do with natural boosting?
Yeah, there are different ways of enhancing your testosterone production naturally. And that goes to basic things. Eating healthy and exercise. So that the others can touch on the others, let us talk about food. Okay. Food can have direct or indirect effect on your testosterone. Now think about taking processed food and junk food as people know it. It increases your risk of developing obesity.
Yeah.
And obesity now has a negative effect to testosterone because of the aromatase we say that converts your testosterone to estrogen. And now you are hormonally imbalanced, okay? So one way of enhancing your testosterone, also increasing its sensitivity, is reducing weight, okay? So, and reducing weight is about food, exercise, and stress management. So the other effect is we know that sexual performance and even general mood is affected by the stress level you have. And stress is also associated with hormonal issues like cortisol. Cortisol and testosterone, they tend to have inverse proportionality, inverse effect to each other. So the more stressed you have, the less testosterone you're likely to be having, or the less sensitive you are to your own testosterone. So again, the other factor would be issues of stress management. And I can let my...
Okay, so before I even weigh in on that, we're talking about overuse of testosterone and how, and where the way you even demonstrating it makes it big. How about what it does to them down there? It shrinks the balls.
So now
save them.
It shrinks the testicles. The overuse of
spectacles. Is it an issue of reduction in sperm count or just the shrinking of the container?
Both of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're no longer, this big fish in a small pond is not, that's a myth.
Yeah.
There's the pond and the fish are also.
All small.
Okay. My goodness. Yeah. So you went.
No, then let me answer your question.
Yes.
Okay. So let's also remember that there are some underlying medical conditions that might result to a low testosterone. So if you do not take care of those underlying medical conditions, then all those things he has mentioned will not work. For example, if you have hypogonadism, and that's when the That's when the
gland.
pituitary. I never know how to pronounce it.
Pituitary gland. Pituitary. Let's
Just say it
now.
Just say in your language.
Pituitary. Pituitary.
You had it. You got it. Pituitary.
Pituitary.
Yes.
So pituitary.
Yes.
Okay. So for example, a condition like hypogonadism, where the pituitary gland is not producing enough, it has a problem.
Yeah.
Then it won't produce enough testosterone.
Yes.
Okay. So you need to treat that condition.
Because it's like the master gland.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you
The
have
master gland that controls every other gland in your body.
Yeah. So you have to treat the condition, and then I think that's where you have the testosterone therapy, and that's allowed for that. And then also conditions like diabetes mellitus, that is high blood sugar, conditions like obesity, because it's a two-way street. Low testosterone can give rise to obesity, and then obesity can make you have low testosterone. So you need to, you mentioned that already, you need to maintain a healthy body weight. Okay. And then you don't have to wait till you have that condition before you, it's not rocket science. It's something, it's just the rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Everybody should maintain a healthy body weight. So work, exercise, and all of that. And then there's all conditions like liver disease, kidney disease. They also contribute or cause low testosterone. So if you do not take care of the liver disease, if you do not take care of the kidney disease, then you would keep having a low testosterone. So no matter how much you work out, no matter how much you reduce stress, the major problem is still there. So it's very important to take care of the underlying medical condition.
Yeah. The reducing stress element is such a difficult one, because how do you reduce stress? The stress is external a lot of times. Yes, there may be self-image. So that's a mental health issue. But then the societal expectations, especially with regard to testosterone. Man is supposed to lead. A man is supposed to be able to be assertive, make decisions, do this, do that, provide, all these things. So how do you reduce stress?
How do you reduce stress?
Yes.
The easiest way to answer that is to just find what the stressor is. Okay? If you find the stressor, then you can deal with the stress in itself.
You quit your job.
Because stress and a stressor are two different things. Okay? If you find a way to navigate around the stressor, then you might be able to find a way through it. And even before we start on mitigating how we can deal with the issues that arise from testosterone, we could tackle maybe the abuse of testosterone. Because even from a psychological perspective, the first thing you need to, before even we engage with the negative effects of an abuse of anabolic androgens, we try to look at, was there a premeditating factor? For instance, if someone had low self-esteem, which led him to abusing testosterone, then we have to deal with the self-esteem first before we deal with the negative effects that come from abusing testosterone, such as the aggression, the narcissism, the low empathy levels that present with testosterone abuse. Another facet that can bring on for some, can facilitate someone to start abusing testosterone, it's antisocial personality. If you have those traits, it's much easier for you to digress to a point where you're using testosterone in a wrong way. And even when we're talking about testosterone therapy, it's something that should be prescribed by a physician. Yeah? A practicing physician who monitors your states, knows how your body is, how it's presenting, its physiological state, so that he or she can work with you in terms of regulating the amount that you're taking.
Yeah.
Because that's crucial. Because remember, we say the body likes to be at an equilibrium. If you put it on a state where you are prompting diminishing effect, where this time I'm using 1 milligram, so next time I have to use 2 milligrams to elicit the same kind of reaction, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
You are faulting into dependency. So when you're working on a psychological perspective, first you try to see where you're coming from. Is it a personality problem? Is it low self-esteem? Or is it your self-perception that has a problem? Then from there, we can work with what comes after you have abused testosterone.
Yes, just to add on what he's saying, he's talking about when people use it for from self-esteem and from the gym, where the gym instructor is just what somebody else from your friend there, and he tells you can use these.
Yeah.
So most of the drugs, probably all the drugs, they have something called a therapeutic window of where this is up to where it is beneficial to you, and more than that, it turns to be poison. Okay. What is the leading cause of death in men? Worldwide.
Worldwide?
Mm.
The leading cause of death in men, it's not cancer, is it?
It's not.
Suicide?
Suicide?
No. So the leading
Heart disease.
Yes. Ischemic heart diseases, okay? And some of these anabolic steroids are the leading causes of that. Okay?
Yes.
So we should use them with indication, and who is that who is prescribing it? Who is that who is recommending it to you?
Yeah. Yes. In fact, when we come back on the Med Squad podcast, even as we think about that, I don't want to name names because it's probably too soon, but there are wrestlers, professional athletes who've been using those and, they passed away. But when we come back, I'm going to be trying to find out who constructs those mirrors that you find in gyms, because there are lots of lies there. Stick around. Welcome back. This is the Med Squad podcast. We have candid conversations about health and wellness across Africa and in different parts of your body. As we talk about testosterone, 31%. So 1% has gone since the commercial break. How long was that break? So I have Dr. Anthony, I have Dr. Kelechi and Dr. Dennis, as we talk about testosterone. But this is the question I have. We've given testosterone a lot of work, but does it have an impact? Because I mentioned the gym mirrors. You see people working out in the gym, and so they're men, women. So there are like 3 mirrors. There's the mirror at the reception, which shows you what you truly look like. Then there's the mirror in the weight section, which makes you look wider than, so you think you're getting somewhere. And then there's another one somewhere that makes you look slimmer. So does testosterone play a part in how men see themselves? Does it color your lenses so you look and think, I'm a stud? Yeah, and yet you don't see the gut that is, or you don't see the things that are not really making you stud.
Yes, testosterone plays a role on how men see themselves. But I think the biggest problem is how the society sees men.
Yes.
And how the society expects men to see themselves beyond just the testosterone.
Yes.
Because there's this testosterone obsession in our society.
Yes.
You have to be a man. You have to be stoic. You have to be a certain way.
Yes.
You know, even men who are effeminate, men who do not have muscles, it's even beyond the muscles this time around, men who do not have a deep voice, you know, men who do not look like men are being, what's the word now? Are being stigmatized.
Yeah.
But does testosterone really make a man? Should a man be judged, or should testosterone define a man? Because the truth is, beyond testosterone, people who have low testosterone can be loving fathers. People who have low testosterone can be loving husbands. They can be effective, you know, team players. They can be effective at work. So I don't think that we should let testosterone be, you know, what defines a man. Yes, when it comes to the health implications, you can go sort that out. But for society to have a certain expectation of men based on, you know, how they should look physically, how they should, you know, how they should behave, you know, some men, you know, who dare to talk about mental health issues or dare to complain about, you know, whatever it is they're going through, financial problems, you know, emotional problems, they're told, be a man.
Yes.
Be a man. And then that stems from, you know, that testosterone obsession.
Yeah.
Okay. So beyond what it does to the man himself, it's what the society puts on them. And then you're talking about mirrors. I think the gym mirror shouldn't be your yardstick. Your own mirror should be your yardstick.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't even be about what you look like. It should be about what you bring to the table as a man.
Yeah.
beyond your testosterone level.
Okay.
Inches.
Yes.
So as for me, I rather be a woman than an unhealthy man.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, there are moral and societal fabrics on the perception and the lenses you want to look into something, or probably how you perceive yourself, self-awareness and the self-esteem has been spoken about. Those are things we can contend with.
Yeah.
But the moment somebody has no deep voice, or their scrotum is smaller, their sperm quality is poor, and they have no muscles because they were born with a defect, then that is not something I want to use the societal shenanigans to look at that person, okay? Because it is a deformity, it's a defect, it's a condition, okay? So that is one spectrum that we have to understand. If you see a man who you don't define as a man because of hormonal imbalance as a result of a disease or something happened to him, a misfortune, and all those things, then that is wrong. However, there is the other spectrum that you are just normal, but you want to be a giant.
Yeah.
And you want to redefine who a man is by injecting more. You see, there are more methods of introducing testosterone into your body. The common ones are the patches, where you just put it and it is releasing small hormone throughout the day. The others will put it under the tongue. There are others that are injectable, muscular injection, subcutaneous. There are different forms, okay? Again, as we said earlier, it is an issue of indication, okay? The definition of a man is simple. You are a human being first, before you are anything else. And then, what is your role in society? These things are naturally depicted. What this society thinks, that society thinks, and that other society thinks, and where you are brought up and all those things should not be what you prescribe to any other person. So if I see you and I think you don't have hair, I am not thinking you're less of a man.
Amen, yeah.
And that's the point.
Okay. So, there was a colleague when they were brought to the office, a team to measure our BMI and everything. There was one specific man who was pulled aside and told, you're either a very healthy woman or an unhealthy man. And the whole office burst out laughing. But I remember the look on his face and how that affected him.
Exactly.
So so when I'm talking about it's not like testosterone can balance out that negative feeling, that negative emotion. So I may have...
it works in tandem with other systems in your mind. Yeah.
So in closing, what closing remarks would you have to say about testosterone? Not necessarily about manhood, just testosterone, because it could go very broad.
Okay, I would say that if you are a man and you're watching this and you think that from the symptoms we've talked about, you might have low testosterone or any issues with your testosterone, don't be shy. Don't feel shame. Go and seek help from a doctor. It's not something that you feel ashamed of. There's therapy available. Okay, do not self-medicate. Do not try to make yourself look like a man overnight. Okay, don't do that. And it's not bad to seek help. And then also to my gender, stop belittling men. Stop making men feel any less of themselves. We have our sexual preferences. We have our physical preferences when it comes to men. We want beard gang. We want muscular men. We want men who are men. We don't want men who are princesses. But what this does to men is that men who are not what we want them to be, they start, thinking less of themselves. Yeah. So let's not contribute to the problems that, the men are already facing with a natural decline of testosterone and then with other underlying conditions that they may have. And to the man, be yourself, own yourself. If you think there's something you need to change, talk to a doctor, seek help, and then just do not just be beyond muscles, testosterone, and just be a human that is healthy and is navigating life one day at a time.
And together we say amen.
Amen.
So for me, I'd say just be healthy.
Yeah.
Before you are either are you a man or not a man to some people? the basic thing is you have to be healthy. So, and what is the road or what are the principles to a healthy life? Because you might have enough testosterone, but you cannot use it in the way you want to use it because diabetes up your hypertension, mental health, and all those things. So number one is look at your nutrition. Physical exercise is also associated with better health outcomes. Stress management. I tend to go away from avoiding stress because it's unavoidable. So it is how you manage it. And then quality sleep is very important. Then social connectedness. You must have good social connection for even your testosterone to be effective. Your wife or any other person. Okay. And then finally is avoidance of risk factors. You're looking at smoking and alcohol use and all those things that you know that are unhealthy to you. And those 6 principles are the benchmark for a healthy life and a good testosterone.
You said amen.
Yeah, amen.
Okay. Well, you've heard it there. Testosterone is a hormone. It's not that
my bit.
That's what I was wanting. Now, see, you said amen, but you haven't said your part. Say yours.
Say my part. Testosterone and the mind are 2 different parts of our body. Where it's produced, especially the balls, and the mind, they are 2 different parts of the body. In the morning, when you wake up with an erection, that's all to do with the balls. But every other erection comes from the mind. Testosterone really dictates to a certain extent how much you perceive yourself as a man. So really do take care of it. It drives your self-drive because you really want to have sex until you're old as the guy who came up with Playboy Mansion, okay? So please do take care of your testosterone. Get it checked. Be mindful about how you perceive yourself. Don't let yourself be more influenced by exterior proponents of your life. Be mindful of who you are as a person. And if you really need to work on the things such as low self-esteem and self-image, you can seek therapy where you can see, you can work on things like CBT where you can gradually change your thoughts and behaviors in terms of how you perceive yourself and become the best version of who you are as a man. And to this we all say,
Amen. Take care of the source. That's what he said.
This is, we're good. Like saying vote for testosterone because it conducts your erections.
That's a wrap.
So remember, testosterone is a hormone. It's not a definition of manhood. And there are natural and healthy ways of maintaining the testosterone levels. Seek help, seek advice. Don't try to do it on yourself. Don't self-medicate. It's not a source of income where you need extra income and reinvest this testosterone on the side and then bring it into the business. But share this information with other men. Let's get away from the negative and toxic masculinity that is killing us practically, literally. See you next time on the Med Squad podcast.